Ooh, good restaurant.
Right here.
Yeah? You ever eat there?
Not in there, but I've got my
outside,
leftovers.
yeah.
Right. Okay, we gotta catch Richland.
Yeah?
Monty Steakhouse.
I've literally gotten myself kicked out of this park just about. They wake you up at like 12 o'clock, 11:30. You know where curfew is? Yeah, man, I got a half an hour, dude. Do you know about urban camping? I'm like, does it look like I have a fucking tent?
You ready? An avalanche of crystal boulders dropping, sliding from who knows where. All sizes, shapes, and colors being broken for our peace of mind. We the lost generation understand the essence of the horizontal line. Tweaking, geeking, everybody's freaking. Floor needs sweeping, my nose keeps leaking. Focus and toke it, don't you try to poke it. Don't start choking, I gotta keep on going now. Sunrise, sunset, hanging with the jet set. You gotta keep your money straight for another bet, yeah. Folgers of boulders, Mr. Coffee's history. Coke was it, but fuck that shit, cause I'm hopeless and dopeless. Bug got nervous, waiting on the next train southbound. Itching and twitching, bitching about the price you pay. Gotta stop at Circle K, but that's okay, it's on the way. I get home, lock the doors, do a line of pride my mind. Get the scale, set it right. Gotta keep going tonight. It's beepers and tweakers, no time for reapers. Someone knocking at the door, those motherfuckers back for more than itching and twitching, bitching about the price they pay. Don't care what they say, gonna do it anyway, yeah. At home, in your car, on your desk, no matter where you are, yeah. Confident and stronger still, I lost that urge to kill. Just sitting in my windowsill, my head still in Tweakerville, yeah. Oh, baby, oh, yeah, well. Razor blades and dollar bills, the lines keep getting bigger still. Focus and toke it, don't you try to poke it. Don't start choking, gotta keep on going now. Out the door, needing more. Gotta wait, you're running late, yeah. Pushing people out the door and telling them there ain't no more. No, 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 no.
We don't want to be on the streets. We don't want to be here.
Since I started working in the downtown area, I think we saw a dramatic increase in our homeless population surrounding the Super Bowl. And we've never had as many kids as we seemed to get that year and maybe the year after. And I had heard about this, that when there's a lot of publicity out there about your community, that you attract everything, you know. And so even people who are homeless in other communities hear about your community and hear about the Super Bowl coming in, so they say, well, I'm going to travel to Tempe and see what it's like. And I think, just generally, I think people came here, liked it, and so either stayed or came back the next year. So we've never seen the numbers quite what they were that Super Bowl year and the subsequent year, but I think the face that has dramatically changed is we've gotten to have a much younger population in more recent years, and I think because we have been successful as a city redeveloping the downtown area, we are one of the only communities that has a real active nightlife, pretty much 7 nights a week. And many of our homeless young people are panhandlers. That's how they support themselves, and so they appreciate having that nightlife that brings the people in, and then they can panhandle. So I think the thing that sort of makes Tempe an attractive place for anybody to choose to live is what makes it attractive to homeless people as well.
Okay. Do you think having the university close by plays any part in that as well?
Well, interesting that you would ask that. It plays a role in a few ways. Number one, the homeless kids sort of blend in with the college kids. If you have a backpack and you are wearing denim, you sort of blend in with the college population. There's also the flexibility of movement on the university campus, that you would move across the entire campus probably unnoticed, and I think that's attractive and comfortable. It's not unusual to see a college kid studying and then maybe putting their head down on their books and sleeping. And so, if a homeless person was sleeping on the campus, it would go probably unnoticed. The other thing that we have heard in working with other communities that tend to be like ours, university town with a young homeless population, is the police over the years tend to be a little more tolerant of certain kinds of behaviors, certainly not more tolerant of people breaking laws, but I think in maybe a community that doesn't have a lot of college kids, you wouldn't see a more relaxed attitude about kids congregating. And we have, I guess, a history, at least that's what you hear from the homeless kids, that our police are nicer, they're a little more tolerant, they're not as apt to just shoo you along, and they're friendlier to deal with. I think we've just grown tolerant over the years with the college population, and so that tolerance extends to the homeless population. So I think it impacts in those two ways.
Well, okay, once upon a time, I was a Catholic schoolgirl. Went to private school, I was in all honors classes. I started smoking pot with my friends. And
About how old were you?
I was 15 when I first started smoking pot. But it was just, pot and a little acid now and then. I was still staying in school, keeping my grades up, until I met this guy at the beginning of my senior year who did heroin. And I was having some problems with my parents at the time, and it just, he got me started on the heroin. And I guess you could say technically I ran away from home, but I was 17, and in Michigan, 17 is a legal adult. So, I mean, if I had been any younger, I would have been considered a runaway, because basically that's what I did. I left home, I left school. They didn't know where I was, and, I don't know, I just kind of said, fuck it with everything. Is it profanity okay? And it was stupid in hindsight. I've made a lot of stupid choices, but anyway, so that's how it first started, and I was homeless for a couple of months there, and then I ended up going back with my parents. They ended up, letting me back home, even though I wasn't still in school, but they laid down some rules. I went back to adult education to get my high school diploma, and that happened a couple of times back and forth, where I would get kicked out, from my parents' house. I'd be homeless for a couple of months with my boyfriend Mark, the same guy who got me started on the heroin, and then I'd go back, and it was a cycle for a while until finally in I think it was fall of 1998 that I left town, and I went on my first road trip with Mark, and we traveled down in a stolen car through all the way down from Michigan. We went, through Tennessee and Ohio, and we spent some time in Alabama and Birmingham. And always our first problem, before even shelter or food, when we would get into a new town, would be where to get some dope, because we'd be withdrawing and we'd be sick, we'd be throwing up, and we'd have to get some dope. That was the first thing. We didn't think of shelter. If we had money, we wouldn't get a hotel room, we would go get some drugs. Finally, we made it to New Orleans, and we spent a couple months there with all the squatters in New Orleans. We slept right out on the levee of the Mississippi River. It was just beautiful out there. Best time of year in the fall there. And at that time, I wasn't really tired of it. I thought it was exciting. Even though, it's a hard life. You're dirty, you're smelly, you got to panhandle for food. Especially when you're on heroin, you go through a cycle of being sick and then getting your drugs and feeling okay and feeling high, and then you go down again and you're sick, so it wasn't really a great lifestyle, but I wasn't so sick of it then. Do you want me to go on? Am I giving long-winded answers? Okay, and then I got arrested in it was October in New Orleans, and I did 63 days in the Orleans Parish prison, and then they released me, and I decided to get a job. Mark had left town while I was in jail. He went back to Detroit, and I got out, and I was just all by myself. My parents, I called them up. They wouldn't buy me a Greyhound ticket. They were big on the tough love, so they would never help me out financially whenever, it's kind of moral support. We're praying for you. But so I was kind of basically on my own, and I met this nun in the prison chaplain, and she kind of took an interest in me because I was only 18 years old, and I have a baby face. She was like, "What are you doing here?" So she set up something for me when I got out, that I would stay with this old guy. He was like 70 years old, a friend of hers named Brother Don, and he wasn't technically a brother anymore, but he ran this place called Hope House in New Orleans, and I had nothing to do with Hope House. It was I think it was just for men. I don't remember, but he let me stay at the house, and I had a bedroom there, and I could watch TV and eat the food in the fridge, and he gave me my own key, and I was off the drugs then because I had just got out of jail. I was clean. And I decided to get a job, and I would stay in New Orleans because I had these warrants back in Detroit from stealing the car that we took to get down there. So I didn't want to go back. Anyway, I got this job. I got hired at the famous store, the original in New Orleans, as a cocktail waitress, which I thought, this is going to be a kick-ass job. Cocktail waitresses make so much money. New Year's was coming up, and I went in there and I told them I was 18, and you only have to be 18 to serve alcohol in the state of Louisiana. And I told them that, and the guy who hired me, he was a manager, and he shook my hand and said, "I'm getting a really good vibe from you, I hadn't had any waitress experience until at that point, and he was giving me a chance. He said, that's what he said. He said, "I'm getting a good vibe from you. I think it'll work out really well, Terry." And then he said, "Memorize this list of the drinks and the abbreviations and the prices, and we'll see you on Monday. Get a pair of black pants and black shoes." And I did all that. I had Brother Don and Sister Lillian, that was the sister. They were helping quiz me on the paper, and I went out. I had hardly any money. My mom, wouldn't send me anything, so they helped me get a pair of black pants from Hope House and some other clothes. And so I showed up for my first day. And when I walk in, okay, I was only 18, and as you can see, I already have a baby face. I look younger than 22. I must look, 16, 15, even though I had ID. When I walked in, the waitresses didn't know me. They said, "Excuse me, can I help you?" They thought I was too young to be in there. And I said, "Yeah, I just got hired to work here. I'm supposed to start tonight." And the lead waitress is like, "Okay, wait here for 1 minute." And then she went in the back, and she was back there for like 20 minutes. And then when she came out with the manager and another manager, not the one who hired me. And he said, "I'm sorry, we just started a new rule. You have to be 21 to serve drinks here now." So I was kind of upset, and, because I figured I would, get a job and, get my life together. But, even thinking about it, I'm getting upset. But, Anyway, so I called my parents up, and Christmas was coming up by then. It was like a week before Christmas, and finally they decided they would send me no, they wouldn't send me the money. They would send Sister Lillian some money. She would buy me the Greyhound ticket and put me on the Greyhound because they didn't trust me with the money. So I got back on Christmas Eve, and I spent Christmas with my family.
Yeah,
How long you been out?
about 3 months.
Yeah. Do you mind if I shoot you? Okay.
I've been on the street about 3 months, so I'm 2.5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So.
What's your story? I mean, parents?
I chose the wrong friends. My parents were gone. I was a CPS when I turned 5. I don't know where my parents are or any of my other family.
Yeah.
I know one of my younger sisters. I only have one younger sister and 3 younger brothers, but I took care of them like ever. They all call me mom, nobody else. But my younger brothers were adopted. My sister's in a group home right now, and because I'm 18, I'm out of the system. And I got on the streets because I chose the wrong friends.
Yeah.
I guess.
Were you in school? Were you?
Yeah, I have 1 semester left.
See, even if
Yeah.
we get anything with anybody,
Are you going to Papas or?
we got protection. We got enough
No,
protection.
yeah, I go through Tumbleweed.
Okay.
It's like a drop-in center, and they're trying to get me
I got
into
like 2 in
school.
my
I want to get
backpack.
I don't want to get my GED.
I
I want
always
to get
got
my
at least
diploma.
one
Right.
couple on me.
And
Well, not on me,
then I
but
eventually want to get into
within
college,
like
be a
walking
nurse,
business.
get a
I ain't just
job.
gonna-
Nurses are always needed.
It's
So.
like hell of a walk, honestly.
Always safe. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know
What about
you're
the kid?
on that job better,
Huh?
but
What are your plans with the kid?
I want to keep it.
Yeah.
and the other age thing, it's all depends.
Yeah.
If she's 16,
Do whatever I have to do to keep it.
that's debatable.
So.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Good.
Anybody tries to take them, they'll have to go through me. I ain't gonna be too friendly about it.
Right.
Under that,
So, how are you proposing? I mean, in the next few months, you're going to need to definitely be looking to get off the street.
Yeah, we're already planning to get some place to go, apartment or something, whatever we can get into. I go through, like I said, I go through Tumbleweed. I've already got prenatal and things that I need. We go there, we eat during the day, get new clothes, whatever.
Yeah. Signed up on Access and.
Yeah, I got access.
We don't want to be on the streets. We don't want to be here.
It's not my choice.
I can get a job if I can stay clean long enough to have one. Basically, we meet our needs by pardon me, sir, pardon me, ma'am. Can you spare any change?
Or just, odd jobs for the day.
Some guy will come by and he'll swoop me up, and he'll take me, and I'll go dig a ditch
Or
in
if
his
you
backyard
have-
or something, and he'll give me like 25 to 30 bucks.
You have-
That doesn't go very far because after we feed each other, you know what I'm
Fine.
saying, and we eat.
Or
You know what I mean? We have like what, 10, 15, well, 15 bucks left or something like that.
sometimes we gotta
Can't get
pawn
in no
our
place.
stuff. We gotta give our stuff away, sell our stuff. And now when we first got out of the streets, we had quite a bit of stuff. But now we have hardly nothing. We have 2 backpacks and a duffel bag. That's it. About a month and a half. Yeah.
Before that, you get this on?
No, before we were in our own apartment. And
I have a lighter,
we
chapstick,
just,
and some change.
That's it.
That's it. That's what I got. There it is.
And a watch.
That's what I'm going to bed with.
And so it's just we were in our apartment and our roommate he failed to put in his part of our rent, so then that left us on the street. We had nothing else to do, and we're on a fixed income anyway, and so that makes it even harder. So and there's no help, and you have to have a job to have a place to live. So when you're homeless, it's really hard to get a job. I mean, not everybody's going to hire someone who's homeless. You can't go into work after not taking a shower for 3 days. That's not very, good. So it's so hard when you're homeless. They don't, nobody's nice. They look down on you. They don't help you. You have to.
They don't trust us and we think we're thieves.
Yeah. Every time we walk into a store, they watch us real close.
There's nothing they got that's worth going to jail over.
So
that's okay. You're not in it.
Right on.
I really think it
Cat, don't you know
really sucks being homeless.
I don't
But
care if I'm in it or not.
if you have to be homeless, this is probably the best area to be homeless in.
Really? Why is it?
Because it's the most accepting, and there's things around here that you can do to keep yourself occupied. I mean, like maybe in Mesa, there's nothing. There's no parks or places you can just go in and hang out.
And these ASU students are pretty good. They're pretty good. Most of them are really nice people.
Yeah, and they'll give you. If we ask, hey, can you spare your leftovers when they come out of the restaurant? They'll do that, or they'll give us change. Because they're out here going to school.
suburbs anyway, so we'll be damned if we're moving to Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll get ate up.
Yeah. So this is if you have to be homeless, this is the best place to be homeless, I think. But it's my first homeless experience, and I had a really hard time. Really hard time.
How did you end up homeless?
What happened was because when I was like a year old, well, I was adopted. You know, I was like, you know how like they have those animals at the petting farm. You can go there.
Yeah.
You know, they're like abandoned animals, and you can pick them up, and you know what I mean? Because they're adopted too. So
Right.
so I was in like this place, and it was like a petting farm, and you can adopt. I mean, and then you can come in, and if you have the correct ledger or the correct papers that indicate that you're capable of being a parent, or you know that you're responsible enough. So then I was adopted, and then when I was 5, I was in Chicago.
Okay.
And then I went to New York, and then after that I went down to God, what the hell's the name of that state? I can't.
What state is
it? It might be either North or South Carolina.
One of the Carolinas. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where they like fixed me up and then sent me off to sent me off to play and stuff.
Okay.
So and
So you were with agencies, adoption agencies, in those different.
yeah, but that's how I ended. Well, basically, like since like how I like ended up homeless was basically my parents decided to go to work full time and raise a family.
Okay.
So I figured that they gave me, they said when I get out of like after I finish high school, they said that I could go out and do whatever I want, but I have to pay for things on my own stuff because they can't afford me and so on and so forth. They can't afford what's going on anymore and stuff. So I just went, I basically just went out and did that, but just because I'm like totally bored, and it's like she's like there's this one thing. It's not stupid, and it's not dumb, and it's not smart.
Yeah.
But what it is it's oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's common sense. It's common sense. It's common sense to wake up in the morning, and it's common sense to go to school, and it's common sense to go to work after school. And if you can't achieve these common sense things, then it's stupid, because you need to achieve these things to
So rather than achieve those things,
I've just been like really lazy.
So you're just like, well then.
Yeah, no, because I've just been like really lazy. You know what I mean? Like, why can't I I think what happened was I think I had hay fever, and she was like, and my when I had hay fever, I was really congested.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I have all this now I have all this backdraft, so I have to catch up on everything. So, and
so it's a lot to overcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Some people are homeless because they want to be homeless, but a lot of people are homeless because they have no choice. They have mental illnesses. Like me, I suffer from borderline schizophrenia, which makes it really extremely hard for me to get a job because I'm not on medication. And I can't get medical help for that because I don't have health insurance. A lot of the homeless people do suffer from mental illness, and they really need the help with it. And that's the main reason why they're homeless.
Someone else was telling me a lot of homeless young people are on the street because they come from abusive homes.
Yeah, abusive homes, mental illness, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now we just look at them and
But that's usually the younger homeless kids.
The younger homeless kids.
Like the runaways of 15, 16, 17 kids.
They're leaving because of abuse.
Yeah.
If there's anything you wanted to let people know about homeless young people that you don't think, say, the Tempe community understands or knows, what would it be?
I think a lot of, before I started working with homeless youth, I often looked at them as kind of rebellious, lazy, kids who didn't like rules at home, so just decided they would come live on the streets and kind of, take advantage of other people and try and get money and things like that. And once I started working with them, I realized that I could not have been more wrong. That a lot of the reasons youth are on the streets are completely beyond their control. The youth leave homes that are so dysfunctional, abused, neglect, that and coming from a situation I did, I couldn't understand that. And I think that a lot of people have the same kind of misconceptions of the youth. And look at them as more rebellious, out of control kids who just want to be free and live on the streets to do whatever they want to do and cause trouble. And I think the main reason they're on the streets is because they have no other choices. They have no place else to go. And especially here, there's no services to kind of reach out and help them. And so they really have no choice in what they do and where they go.
What did you find as far as reasons were kind of predominant themes, reasons why they became homeless or why they're on the street?
Physical, sexual, and emotional abuse was definitely the main reason. The youth also described other disruptive family conditions, parental use of alcohol and drugs that often led to abuse, parental neglect, and then other reasons. The youth were thrown out of the home.
What would you say to the people who say that it's a choice? It's these young kids choosing to be on the streets, kind of thing.
I don't see how you have a choice in how they end up on the streets. And then once they're on the streets, a youth who has a good family home would not choose to be on the street, to be victimized on the streets. The things that go on in the streets aren't something that a youth would choose to be in that situation. I don't see any choice in either staying at a home where abuse is going on or leaving and coming to the streets.
Most of the youth we talked to, 50%, had real ties to this area. They were either born here, they lived here, they had relatives here. Some very significant ties. So this is their community.
Okay.
So it's not, they don't want to leave it.
We would just basically survive day to day. It wasn't easy. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money, and shoplifting is always a risk that you have to take. Well, you don't have to take, but I mean, it can get you more money than panhandling will. But then you're risking getting arrested. Mark usually did the shoplifting because ever since the last time I went to jail. I went, for 4 months, and then the 3 months in rehab. That was, almost 7 months altogether, and so ever since then, I wouldn't even shoplift or do anything because I'm too scared to go to jail. So it's been, the last time I got arrested was January 30th of 1998, and I haven't been arrested since because I've been so careful, and I won't shoplift anymore. So, yeah, sometimes Mark would steal things, and then I would help him. We would return it at another store, and sometimes you'd have to exchange it for something and then return that because they won't give you cash without a receipt. But if we took something in without a receipt, they would exchange it for you without a receipt, but then they'd give you a receipt for the thing you just exchanged it for, and then you'd have to take that to a third place, and then you'd get the money. And so that's what we would do. People just look like the kid next door. There are some people, you know, that may take great pains to keep their clothes clean and shower, and they don't even look like they're homeless. You know, there are people that get up and go to work every day, but still don't have a place to stay. I did that for a while. From like, what was it, December 99 till like May of 2000, I was clean, and me and Mark were broken up at the time, and I got a job, but see, I don't have anybody to help me out around here. My parents won't help me out. After Mark left, I was just all by myself, and I would get up and I'd go to the methadone clinic to get my medicine, and then I would go to work. I worked at a telemarketing job. And I was just an awful telemarketer. I could barely keep that job because I can't telemarket. I don't like being pushy. And my boss knew that I was homeless, and he felt sorry for me, so he didn't fire me. But everybody there was just totally mean to me. Even though I would go and take showers at the airport or at, you know, a service agency, a shelter or something, I would make sure to take showers and wear deodorant, but people would still think that I was dirty or I smelled, and they treated me like a leper there. And every day I would go to work, and then I would go sleep on the ground at night. And then I still could not get enough money to get an apartment myself, because, you know, you need security deposit, you know, credit checks sometimes, you know, first and last month's rent. You really have to save up at least like $600 to get started in an apartment. And they kept cutting my hours because I was such an awful telemarketer. And I would get usually only about 30, 35 maybe if I was lucky hours a week. Usually about 27, 33 hours a week at $6 an hour, and then minus taxes. I could not even get into an apartment. I worked that job for 5 months, and I could not get. I was paying for food, you know, when you don't have a fridge or a stove or anything, where can you eat? You have to eat prepared food at McDonald's, or go to Fry's and get, you know, some apples or something, you know. It's a lot cheaper if you can, you know, buy the materials and then cook something, you know, than to buy a chicken sandwich at Burger King or whatever. So I was spending a lot of money on food, you know. Even if you figure $2 a meal, 3 meals a day, that's $6 a day, that's $42 a week, $200 a month. And I was only making after taxes about $175, $200 a week, you know. And then I was paying to take the bus around, you know. I didn't have my own transportation. I could not get up enough money to get an apartment that whole time. I started a little bank account, but they kept charging me all these fees. If it's just a savings account, this was Bank One. I mean, I remember a time when they used to pay you money to keep your money with them. They would pay you interest. But since it was under a certain amount, since it was so little, it was like they were charging me $2 a month to like store my money with them. Plus, it would be fees if I wanted to withdraw something. And I didn't have an address to send the ATM card to. I didn't have anybody that I trusted to get the ATM card at their house, you know, with all my money. I didn't want to send it to a friend's house. So, you know, it really, people say all the time when I panhandle, they say, get a job. But it's harder than you would think. If you don't have an address or a phone number to put on the application, then you'll have to tell them you're homeless. You can't shower every morning sometimes to get to work. What are you going to do with your clothes? You know, I don't have an office wardrobe. And if you have to tell your boss you're homeless because you don't have an address or phone number, then they're going to think, well, she's going to steal, or she's on drugs, or she must be a prostitute, or she's going to be smelly. You know, people don't want to hire somebody homeless. They don't trust a homeless person. You know, it really is pretty hard.
Working at Streets of New York Pizza.
Yeah, I just got hired last week.
Okay.
And you were saying you applied at tons of places?
Yeah, I applied everywhere from 44th Street to Scottsdale Road on Thomas.
44th Street what?
So, and
And so you're still living on the streets, but you're working there?
yeah, I'm living in an abandoned house right now.
Okay. Down here in Tempe or up that way?
Here in Tempe.
Here in Tempe. So then you take the bus up that way and then you go to work and...
Yeah.
You're still living?
Where do you clean up for work and everything?
You exist?
Sometimes I'll go to a friend's apartment down North Phoenix, or I'll walk into a bathroom of a convenience store or something and wash up a little bit.
Talking to me?
Okay.
I usually live in fucking abandoned houses. Sometimes I'll sleep here in the office. And this is what we call the scum office. And sometimes I'll sleep in abandoned warehouses.
Can you imagine
there's a ravine over by the mountain that I go sleep sometimes. But every now and then I'll be able to go over to somebody I know who has an apartment and stay there. Maybe up there, get a nice little shower.
How did you get food and other things?
I sit on the street and ask people for the leftovers as they came out of the restaurants, and I'd ask them for a little change to help out, help me out. I'd go to the church feeds. I'd go to home-based youth services and also Tumbleweed youth services and try to get food and clothing.
What did you think of Tumbleweed?
Tumbleweed, I like it because they push you to get a job and push you to better yourself. They try to help you out a lot.
Is that what kind of motivated you to kind of start looking?
No. Right now I'm afraid to go to Tumbleweed because I'm afraid they'll call my probation officer and tell her where I am. We try to consider each other family. We try to help each other as a family because we're all in the same boat together. But the main thing is. But the main thing is due to some people's personality defects, it makes it kind of hard, but we still try to accept them as family and help each other out. But there's a lot of drama, a lot of stuff put with the cops sometimes get between us and make us turn against each other.
Yeah.
But we try to treat everybody as family. Almost to the point where I've enjoyed a lot of it, but there's been a lot of hard times.
Yeah,
the cops, they don't really particularly like us.
Yeah, hard times. Listen to them, bro.
I'm a felon, so they like to particularly mess with me because they know it.
Okay.
And
because he knows.
I'm generally a good kid, and I'm trying to get my shit together, but it's getting harder and harder with the cops messing with us.
Yeah.
You go ahead and turn that off. I don't want to be filmed. We're in public space. I'm still broke. What's that?
Somebody to help.
Keep your hands out of your pockets. Do you have any ID?
So you think that's what he's doing? He's running?
Yeah.
Warrants?
That's what they always do. I'm homeless, so I must have warrants.
Try to stay under the
I don't understand the whole logic behind it, nor do I just choose not to try and understand it because it's just completely arcane. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I have it because he doesn't
for a goddamn reason.
Have you ever been harassed over there by team?
Yeah, a while ago. I don't really go over there anymore.
Between squatting down here in Tempe and squatting in Phoenix?
Phoenix is a lot more dangerous.
In what ways?
Because we were staying on Roosevelt, and there's a lot of transvestite whores and prostitutes. So there's guys that will follow you down the street. I have had guys just walking down that street, going from halfway down the block to Circle K. There's guys that will follow you. I've been followed by some guy. He kept turning around following me, and I had to go to a gas station for a while to get him off my back, And then another guy pulled into the gas station. He's like, "Do you know where Broadway is?" And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Well, will you come with us and help us find it?" I'm like, "No." So, yeah, people, they try to pick up on you. there's this like black guy following me in his car. He's like, hey, come on. I'm like, hell no, you know. I couldn't even get back to my squat because we squatted in bushes next to the street, and I couldn't even walk down there because I was by myself and I couldn't find anybody. So I just got dropped off by my friend. I went to go visit my friend for a couple days. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be back like this night, you know. Hopefully there'll be somebody at the squat, or I'll meet somebody somewhere, you know, close by. I was wandering around for like a half hour, and there's this, like, just people out there. They're like psychos, you know, wingnets. People who talk to themselves, that's a wingnet. And they answer themselves too. They have like conversations. I mean, they lose arguments to themselves. That's a wingnet. So, I don't know, there's just a lot of people just following you. There's like this black guy, his name's Crackalacker. He's a black dude, and he's like, hey, do you smoke weed? And I'm like, no, I'm pregnant, I don't do anything, you know. And he's like, hey, well, my man over here wants to get down with you. I'm like, hell no, I'm leaving, I gotta go that way. I was like trying to bum a cigarette from somebody, but it's hard, you know. I don't like Phoenix. Out here in Tempe, like, you know, people, all the homeless people are cool. They're not like gonna go after you or anything, you know. And there's just like very few drunks. And if a drunk it gets too drunk and he tries to go after you, you've got everybody else behind you, you know. So, and they're like, okay, well, you know, you're cool with them, but they were drunk. So it's like afterwards, they're like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go after you. I wasn't gonna hurt you, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, everybody's like, everybody loves everybody out here. If you have a problem with somebody, you just stay away from them. I'm like, there's like no fights or anything like that, you know. So it's pretty cool. And plus, we got a nice street here. Yeah.
In the past few weeks, we've noticed that there's a lot more people down here. Does that change it any for the people that were here before? Is there competition for spanging? Is there?
Not really. Sometimes we even group up and spange together and go buy us all some food together, you know, or whatever. But it's actually kind of better because we stayed in an abandoned house, and we were like the only two staying there for a while. We had two other people staying in our room, but I mean, we have like 20 people in the house now. There's like a bunch of people in the living room, people in the other rooms. So it's kind of like, I kind of feel a little bit better about it. I mean, there's like a lot of noise and stuff because they're all drunks and everything, you know. But that's like an every once in a while thing, and we can get over that. But
is it like safety in numbers then?
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking about, safety in numbers.
What about, does it increase the risk of getting caught trespassing?
As long as you're not staying with a bunch of stupid people that are like gonna walk in and out during the day and like not watch their back, that's pretty stupid. You know, everyone, we have safety in numbers, but we also have like the smart people hanging around us, like, you know, don't do anything stupid, don't let people see you walking in and out of the house, don't make too much noise, you know, stuff like that. Like at night, it's cool because everyone's making noise, you know. During the day, people are walking around and they can hear you from the street and stuff, so. Plus there's like construction going on across the street from us.
So, I mean, where do you get food and other supplies?
Salvation Army. We can get food from. There's a place down the street here on University and Ash, approximately, that has a free store. They open it up and let you go in and just take what you need.
Yeah. How often do you get food at Salvation Army?
We're allowed 2 bags a week. 2 bags a week. 2 food bags a week. It's just basic canned food, crackers, things like that. The other time we eat, we just sit in the corner and spange for cash. Do fairly well. Yesterday, I think I made about $13 yesterday in a couple hours time. But we just do a lot of stuff to keep sane. Every Saturday night we go to drum circle. Right. Well, haven't for a while, but we're heading up there tonight. And just have nighttime is the easiest time to spend because everyone that's been indoors all day comes out.
Some days gonna feel so crazy. Gonna think you've gone. Think the insane.
What are the restrictions, as far as legal restrictions on panhandling locally?
Well, we didn't really have many at all until we passed an ordinance a couple of years ago, and it prohibits aggressive panhandling, and it sets some perimeter lines for people approaching someone who's like using an ATM, and how overt you can be, or how aggressive, or how many times you can repeatedly ask a person for money.
Is that ordinance publicized in any way so that the pedestrians know about that, or so that the homeless individuals know it?
No, I would say it's more word of mouth. We haven't been very overt. We passed the aggressive panhandling in the sidewalk ordinance at the same time. I'm sure you've heard that the sidewalk ordinance has been challenged, and that is that you can't sit or block or obstruct people from passing along the sidewalks. But with both of them, I think the word is out on the street that both of these ordinances are in place, but they're really not utilized or enforced very frequently.
Yeah, it was like down there, we're walking up to go up Jack Box, get some food.
Yeah.
And the security guy down there at Long Wong's had some extra food. This guy's hungry. He gave it to me. It was like this chicken quesadilla thing. It's like, chicken!
That's cool.
Besides hamburgers.
Yeah.
That's like, I did that for like 10 miles. Right. You get anything but hamburgers around here.
So, what's kind of the coolest businesses to homeless people here on Mill?
Bulls place over there. They're cool with us. They don't really say anything about what's going in, like in water and things like that. Hippie Gypsy's alright. Trails is pretty cool. Everywhere else tries to run you off, really.
Yeah.
Jack in the Box, we go in there all the time. We're big on business, so don't say anything.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of the places out here suck. I mean, big ones, right? But it's just like, it sucks, really. I mean, I just came back from Portland and they had great services.
So what kind of services did Portland have that's not here?
Out there they had drop-in centers.
Yeah.
You can go out, sit there all day and play pool, go to school, get on the internet, try to get jobs. I mean, they have all these great services they have.
So they had drop-in centers?
They had all that type of stuff. It was like, you go and you could go to their shelters that like you could live in until you got a job. You didn't have to have like IDs and things like this. You had like you didn't have to have ID, but you can like have like a piece of paper saying your name from the porch.
Right.
Take that. Out here they won't.
Yeah.
And it's like they need more places to help kids out here.
Yeah.
I mean, I look around here. I've met 12-years on the streets now.
Yeah.
And no one really helps. All the PD do is arrest us and harass us.
Yeah.
The state doesn't care anymore. It's sad.
Is the only place that does anything the Salvation Army?
Sally helps out.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You know?
It's like no one really cares out here. They're more interested in image.
Yeah.
And it's image. Image isn't everything. It's how you treat the people.
Yeah.
Excuse me, nice people. Spare a little bit of change. You guys have a nice night.
Medical care on.
Spare a little bit of change. That's alright. Thank you anyways. Excuse me. Spare a little bit of change tonight. I do have a job. I just don't start Sunday. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, that attitude just shocks and amazes me. I mean, it just... Yeah, I can't believe it.
It's like, get a job. Well, you tried. You got one. Beautiful day. A little bit of change.
Took me about a month to reprogram CCR though, so
you guys get some change. Are you leftovers for something? Cigarette? Something? Okay, we'll ignore it again.
Yeah. Or my
that's the major problem we have is keep.
So how do you keep
sane?
Asking when these people say these things to you?
Basically, how I do it is basically it's survival.
Yeah.
Either you eat or you don't eat. Spare a little bit of change. So how you doing tonight, man? Getting by.
And once in a while, it depends, you can get permission from the church to stay on the property, but recently too many people have done it and they had cops called because it's on ASU campus, so, you know, the campus was pissed and the church was like, well, hey, we gave them sanctuary and just, okay, get out, just, or they were getting pissed because they were finding people's stuff laid there and, you know, they have school and all that or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, people were screwing that up, but, you know, if they know us and they know who we are, they'll usually let us.
Honestly, I think that's about the three things we had.
Are there any resources from the university besides the library?
College kids are changing their pockets.
That's about
College
it.
students are changing their pockets and are willing to do it for something.
Yeah, that's about it.
And honestly, 75% of the guys coming off to college are really cool about it. If they don't have it, they'll be honest. Just like, if I have, I give it to you, or I just gave it to that guy.
It's like, we're always nice, you know, God bless you anyways, you know, have a good day, you know, be nice about it.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the university, we probably would be dead.
Yeah.
We probably would have starved or...
Yeah, or been like floating around Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Phoenix is hard. I mean, you even go to a shelter, if you fall asleep, you get your shit jacked right off the bat. You'd be left with no shoes, no pack, you're like, ah, shit.
Why are you still wearing your pants?
Yeah. But it's a lot easier to stay on the street, actually.
Are there any services you'd like to see in Tempe?
Oh, we'd love it if they had a
would be really
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be that big, as long as, you know, everyone can get like at least a night
Yeah.
on a mat, you know.
A shower, you know,
nice
a
shower.
nice comfy pillow, you know, maybe, you know, clean socks or whatever. Because most of the time we don't get that. Salvation Army, we have it once in a while, but you can't hit them up every day.
Mhm.
Free store, they're only open Monday through Thursday, between like 11 and 2. So it's like, but you have to be like the first one in line because like everybody just takes everything and you're like, oh crap.
There's a lot of people that go in there, I mean, literally with garbage bags and
And then walk across to Buffalo Exchange and sell. We're just walking in there for a couple
We just want to
items.
change out for the day, you know.
Yep.
We'll
That's
flashy
like-
clothes we're wearing now, so hopefully maybe one day we'll come up to $1.25 and some soap.
You know, you come up with, you know, if we crash at a friend's apartment, you know, we'll figure out, we'll buy some soap, you know, go to the laundromat, do our clothes.
Put them all on, jump in the pool.
So even a place to do laundry, not even.
Oh,
just
we've done laundry in the pool.
That would be
jump
so cool.
in,
They had a
and you
place
got
where
your
they just
clothes
had
on.
bathrooms and
You can come
laundry.
out. Yep.
So bathrooms and showers, laundry, maybe someplace as well as the Southern Army, they get food.
Or
Yeah,
TV.
that would be sweet. Yeah, nice TV. Every once in a while, even just a weather channel.
We've been sleeping behind the Salvation Army,
Yeah.
and nobody has bothered us there at all. And
But the cops are going to start coming by. We got warning, so we
got
can't
warning,
stay
we're
there.
not sitting there. So now we have nowhere to go. I just have to find a place and hope that the cops don't stop us. And they may not take us to jail. I don't know. It depends on what cop it is, if he's bored, if he's busy, or what. You know, those tells. Most of the time they just tell you you got to leave. And there's a lot of places you can go, but a lot of it, you know, is filling out applications, getting an appointment. It's a lot of footwork before you actually see results. So a lot of times, a lot of people just say forget it because they don't want to deal with all the before work. They just want it now.
Right.
And that's what I have a hard time with. I want it now. Like the Section 8, there's a waiting list like a year long. And, you know, I put my name in there. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to wait around for it. Because I can't, you know, that's a long time. So we're really trying to find a place to stay indoors at night. I don't care if I have to stay outside all day.
She goes to dialysis 3 times a week, man. We sleep there, you know what I mean? She sleeps while she's dialyzing, and I just sleep in the lobby.
So we get our rest, but at night it's real hard. And I don't sleep very well out here at night because I'm always waking up thinking someone's going to come up on us or, you know.
I think that I'm going crazy. I really think that
Most of the hospitals, they want you to, they'll just hand you the prescription and be like, go get this film. And you're like, excuse me, hello? Do I look like I have money? Do you see any address written down on any of my papers? All the nurses are like, oh, you live on the street? I'm like, I'm like, don't they have that shit in my records? Don't you look through that all the time? Well, yeah. Well, then you should realize it. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. well, we'll see what we could do. Hell, the one nurse, she's like, well, if I can find a bottle of Robitussin that was up here, she's like, I'll let you take it. She's like, I don't know what they did with it. I'm I'm in there for 3 days, and all they give me is a little teaspoonful of Robitussin the whole fucking time. And I'm bitching. They sent like 3 different people from Access into my room asking me the same fucking questions. I'm like, don't you have the same sheets? I'm like, didn't I answer all of them? Well, this, I'm like, no, I don't have a fucking address. I'm like, all my mail goes to Salvation Army. That's my address, but no, I don't live anywhere except, if you want me to take you where I live, it's a little bit of a hike. Where is that? Right beside the tracks. Really? Well, in that case, they start writing shit down. And do you have any properties? Do you own any houses? Do you own a car? I'm like, if I had a fucking house or a car, do you think I'd be living on the street? I'm like, well, we have to ask you all these questions. I'm like, doesn't it just sum it up in like one statement? I don't own a damn thing. It's like, no, I don't have a credit card. No, I don't have a bank account. Hey, how's it going, man? Long time no see. But it's like, no, I don't. All I own right now is what I'm wearing and a few other things that I have stored somewhere. Are they worth value? I'm like, yeah, right. What? How much of a value can you put on a couple pairs of jeans and a couple of shirts?
1 minute is all you need to plant your little.
Pretty dangerous, you know. Dangerous as opposed to getting arrested, going to jail, getting a record, also even to getting beat up. I mean, a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine, a kid that just got in town just before I got out of jail this last time, he was up on a mountain and got into a fight with this dude over his old lady. And he won the fight, and the dude left, and when he fell asleep, the dude came back and beat him over the head with a rock. And he ended up going to the hospital, getting stitches, and having a hairline fracture in his jaw. So, you know, it is pretty dangerous. There's people out there that just get a thrill out of beating homeless people up. I've lived in Phoenix and seen I was sitting at a parking lot at Circle K, you know, waiting for my food stamps to come in so I could buy some food. And this guy walks up with his face all bloody. And what happened is 4 or 5 Mexican dudes just rolled up on him and started beating the crap out of him because he was homeless. And then on top of that, not to mention that he's broken homeless, they rob him for his fucking wallet and everything else.
So does that stuff happen in Tempe much?
In Tempe, I've only heard about it a couple times. Stuff like that happening down here. It doesn't really generally happen very often, you know. And like I said, it was about the kid who got his head beat in with rock to sleep. That happened like last week or the week before.
Someone was telling us about lighting homeless people on fire.
Does that happen that much? I don't know nothing about that or anything like that. About a year ago, a year and a half ago, when I first went to jail for my robbery charge, fucking some homeless kids that were real stupid. This one kid that they called Nazi James had gotten a gun and he raped some girl in a homeless house back here. And there's a bunch of other kids there helping him, but he also had the gun on 2 other kids and made them stay. And what they did is they threw her in a trash can and lit her on fire. And she was a homeless person too, apparently. She survived, but all of them got attempted murder charges. Even the 2 that they held the gun on and made them stay, they got attempted murder charges and shit too, which is kind of fucked up. Yes, some kids went to jail for murder. Some homeless kids went to jail for murder. Some fucked up kids. You know, they're the kids that we don't consider old school. All the other kids that are doing it. These are the new school kids that are coming in and got these badass attitudes, don't know the rules of the game, you know, think they can run them up.
Sometimes got to hit rewind so you can play it all again at a better time. And
victimization is definitely the main problem. A lot of the youth, were raped, beaten, had things taken from them. Just a lot of being victims on the streets. And one of the focuses that I looked at in my thesis was, the youth are victimized at home. Majority of them are physically, sexually, mentally abused. And then on the streets, they come to the streets and they're being victimized again. They're being raped, they're being beaten and abused, things like that. And one of the questions was, if the same things are happening to them on the streets as they did at home, why are they staying on the streets? And, the reasons, it didn't sink in until I was actually sitting down and interviewing them, and it's, they're saying it's completely different when it's a family member, someone who's supposed to protect you and take care of you and love you, who is, beating you day in and day out, whereas it's someone that you have no emotional tie to on the streets who's doing the same thing. There's a difference there, and they felt like they had some kind of power and control over those who abuse them on the streets than they did at home. And so it was more of a empowerment issue for them staying on the streets. They felt like they had some kind of choice in who, beat them up and things like that. They felt like they put themselves in a certain situation that allowed them to do that, whereas in the family and at home they had no control.
Where are you from?
I'm from here, the great old US of A, Phoenix, Arizona.
Right on. How long you been on the streets, bro?
I've been on the streets my whole life.
Yeah, how you liking it?
How do I like it? It's the only way I know.
Yeah.
It's the only way I know.
So how you eat, brother?
How do I eat?
Yeah.
Sparingly. Sparingly. Yeah.
Yeah, eat a little, save a little, huh?
Eat a little, save a little.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the vice president of the Scums, the Tempe Scums, which are affiliated with San Francisco Scumfucks, which are affiliated with the Hells Angels, which doesn't matter, we're all one. We try to help each other out up here. And what we're about right now, we try to help people out. Somebody needs help, we'll help them out. You need a sleeping bag, we'll get it for you. You need to know where to go clean up, take a shower, we'll get it for you. You need to go eat, we'll get, and if you're hungry, we'll go. If I got money in my pocket, I'll give it to you to get something to eat. That's exactly how it is.
And you're a scum, and you want to call other scums, if they're anywhere around you, you yell,
"Hey, Bob!"
That's what you do.
If you had to kind of suggest something, particularly for the Tempe area, as far as what could be done to help and deal with the issue of homelessness, what would you suggest?
More social services. We definitely need them here. If they had a drop-in center, even that would help. A place where they can go, especially in the summer, to cool off, where they can get clothes, where they can eat, where they can meet with a case manager like they do in Phoenix, who sits down with them and asks them what kind of goals they would like to meet and works with them to find those goals. Work with a job developer to find a job. If their goal is to go one day without having to worry about finding food, things like that, working with them on those goals. Even having a homeless shopping center, and definitely shelter, a place where they can go where it's safe for them to stay.
I've been trying to find like a social agency or something that will help me with the rent in the meantime until I can find another job, but I just can't find anything. I've tried St. Vincent de Paul, the Salvation Army, Interfaith Services in Phoenix, and in Tempe there's just like nothing, So I guess I'm just on my own.
Okay. If you could say anything you wanted to, like, the community of Tempe about the homeless, to make them more aware of what is really there, as opposed to what they may see in the media or misconceptions they may have. What would you say?
I would want people to really come to Tempe and put a human face on the needs of our youth. These are our children. If they hit the streets when they're 14 or 15, if they're there, then it's largely, to me, a result of our social infrastructure, because we're not taking care of them. If children end up on the street at 14, we've done something wrong. And therefore, we need to look at our communities and say, how are we going to do this better? And we need an infrastructure of social services to do that we don't have. So if that child now is 18 and an adult, and they're on our streets, and we know they have been, and they're part of our community, we have just as much obligation to them at 18 as we did at 14. It's the fact that they aged doesn't mean a lot. And we also know that, you know, when youth hit the streets, young adults hit the streets at young ages, they're developmentally slowed down, because they're, you know, and they're dealing with these very extreme circumstances. So my plea would be to please put a human face on this. These are our children. These kids need our help. They're our kids. And until we reach out to them and really begin to provide that kind of infrastructure and care, the problems are only going to get worse. You know? You can cut the policy and cut an equation any way you want to enforce certain rules that you want. And I think Team Tempe is a result of that. They have come into play to have a heavier hand, so to speak, because now it's private property. We've given this so that public laws don't apply. And to me, that's a civil rights violation. I mean, that just feels really not right to me. I think it's a human rights concern, and I feel that. It may be very, very legal, and I suspect that it is, but that doesn't make it okay. And I think that's the mentality on Mill Avenue that's so disturbing to me. It's not, we are going to continue to cut the pie to have people there we want and try not to have people there we don't want, versus taking care of our citizens. And you know, we have multiple needs in our community, and homelessness is one of them.
So you don't even see the city of Tempe seeing them as citizens at all?
I think when those types of rules are applied, no, I don't. And when in reality, they're citizens. But I don't believe that they're treated with the same respect. Now, what I think needs to come out of it, though, is a serious coordinated effort of service, true service provision. You know, showers, food, and I think we desperately need some type of constant food source. And I don't know how you want to define that as a soup kitchen or how you want to do that, but we need some stable food source, stable place to get a shower, you know, just a really kind of a basic infrastructure, and a place to sleep. And I think for youth, especially young adults, I think that we need some type of place where we can transition youth off the street. And the sooner we get to them, the better, because the longer it is, the harder it is. And I see that as some type of, you know, if you want to call it transitional living, but I think it has to start as emergency drop-in shelter, because you've got to make rapport, you've got to have a lot of contact. It takes a lot of outreach. You might work with a young adult a year before you even get them into sort of a first phase. So I think we need some type of emergency drop-in, because the sooner we can get to a young person who hits the streets, if we get to them at 14 or 15, we're going to do a lot better than if we don't get them to them till they're 18. So I think we need comprehensive services.
Nothing to call your own. Kindness be the cure. A good deed is made of gold.
What would you suggest that they do?
Selling your damn bike, bro.
Something that offers a better shower facility. Something that offers clothing bank.
That man should never. I would have done the same.
Offers
thing.
food, helps finding jobs.
I
And
would
food,
have
do you
done
mean
the
like
same thing,
canned
right?
food or hot meal?
I'm talking about hot meals, good hearty meals that, if you look around and see some of the homeless people, even me, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even us, we don't do that.
A lot of us don't get the nutrition we need. I've had this cough and been feeling real shitty for the past 2 months.
If we see there's
just because I haven't been eating, I haven't been able to eat right.
We know that person is inside.
So even health services might be part of it too.
Yeah, health services would be excellent. Excellent. But majority thing is also help getting on your feet, like another chance program or something like that. Help finding a job, help finding places to live, and for you possibly even a residential center to help you on your feet.
Okay.
What is it that you think is needed in Tempe that's not being provided?
I don't know. The thing is, if the city of New York has a responsibility to drive around in vans picking up homeless people on a cold day and demanding that they either get inside or get arrested because they'll be dead from the cold kind of thing. And they do that every once in a while. If the city of New York has a responsibility to do that, what responsibility does the city of Tempe have to cool people off in the summer? Mostly they're just highly dysfunctional people who come from backgrounds that really screwed their heads up. And they'll probably never re-enter society as society would like them to. And that's the key, is that they're slipping through the cracks and they're invisible until they break the law. Now, how do you help people like that? Well, it's like a bird bag. You can't tell a bird to go to the bird bag. But if you leave it there, eventually one of them might use it. But if you leave some shit out for people, they're liable to take advantage of it.
What are your plans for the future now that you have a job?
Well, what I'm hoping to do is I'm really hoping to get an apartment with some friends and, get myself a vehicle. And I want to get a girlfriend and have an actual life.
What's the person look like?
Yeah.
So now they got 5 people being paid to stand here and tell you not to talk to me.
Interesting.
Isn't that great? 4 people, whatever. 4 people. A cute girl and 3 big guys.
They're boycotting you?
Which will give me more business. Well, that's what he's saying because I have a sign that says boycott the alley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's complicated.
Yeah, it's
oh yeah.
Is this team security? Or is
no, these guys are private security guys for that bar up there where people go to drink and then drive. It's very sad. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Except for our DJ announces every night that you can have a cab ride home if you need it.
Okay.
We have a cab service that offers you a ride home and a free ride back to your car.
So why the boycott though? I mean, why doesn't it just exacerbate the problems? No?
The way Dennis works is if you don't give him money or free lunches every day, he'll talk bad about your establishment.
I see.
So that's how it works.
But doesn't this just bring more attention to him? Doesn't this just bring more attention to him?
Yeah.
And then lets him talk more?
Right.
Okay.
It does.
Slowly at first, then I wonder when I'm finally gonna burst. Then I think back, reason that I'm here. Then I wonder, should I grab another beer? crazy, maybe I'm deranged. I can't help wondering why I'm begging you for spange. You would not believe the magic that I've seen. All the good people that I've met along the way. But I tried to leave here 10 times before, but it's so hard leaving when you can't find a door. Anyway, so I walk along, slowly at first. Then I wonder when I'm finally gonna burst. Then I think about the reason that I'm here, and then I wonder, should I grab another beer? Then I'll tell you the story of a fool down on Mill Avenue. Real good bunch of people that I'd like you to meet. They're out there on the avenue every Saturday night. Bring some good loving, bring what you do. It's sure to be a good time had by you. Down on Mill Avenue every day. Down on Mill Avenue. I can't see what's out in the open. I can't see what everyone hides. All I see is my own reflection, and I don't think that understand why. I can't do what everyone tells me. I can't seem to find the time. I think that I'm going crazy. I really think that I lost my mind when I sing la 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 la. I don't mind rolling around circles, long seems like I'm having some fun. When I find out if you haven't chased me, I just want to fucking fly away. And I sing la 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 I'm lost here, I can't find direction. I can't seem to get down the road. So I guess I could just kick for a little while, sit back and watch her legs unfold. And I'll sing la 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 la. Wake in the morning, I hear the birds chirping. Air is fresh and the sun is kind. So I guess I could just kick for a little while, sit back and I ain't trying to unwind. And I'll sing la 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 see what everyone hides. All I see is my own reflection, and I don't even understand why I can't do what everyone tells me. I can't seem to find the time, so I guess I can just kick for a little while, sit back and sing la 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 I don't mind going around in circles, long it seems like I'm having some fun. When I find out it's you I've been chasing, I just want to get up and fly away. And I say la 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 la. I'm lost here, I can't find direction. I can't seem to get on the road, so I guess I can just kick for a little while, sit back and watch her legs unfold. And I'll sing la 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 la. I haven't done that song in a while, huh?